Legion Tactical Cutlery.
Hold the line!
Hey everyone, how you guys doing? Gruggs here, Legion Tactical Cutlery. Welcome back once again, troops, legionnaires, new recruits. As always, really appreciate you all taking your time to check out my channel and my videos. All right, excited. We're going to be testing out this SDOKEDC Hunter in DC53 tool steel. It did very well on the Legion premiere, so hopefully you guys and gals will get a better idea of how this knife is going to perform. Very, very excited. Let's get started. What's everybody carrying? Well, once again, I decided to carry my throw club shank in 420C steel. Love this knife. Go check out the Legion premiere. Not a bad knife for 20 bucks. What's everybody carrying? It's Veterans Day, Legionnaires, so do me a favor, drop a comment, thank a veteran. Really appreciate you all. Thank you very much for your service. Enjoy the video. Let's get this done. Let's go over quick specs. I'll do a quick close-up, and then I want to get started. I want to test out this knife. I want to see how that handle holds up. So let's go over the specs here. Once again, this is the SDOKEDC drop point hunter in DC53 steel. Overall length 10.1 inch, blade length 5.11 inch, blade material DC53, blade hardness 60 to 61 HRC, blade thickness 4.57 millimeters, blade width 1.36 inch, handle length 4.57 inch, handle width 1.18 inch, handle thickness 0.82 inch, handle material G10, weight 9.62 ounce, sheath weight 4.76 ounce, total weight combined 14.43 ounce. So this would make a nice EDC, you know, aside from a hunter. And I'm hoping that that handle and that, you know, that tang is gonna hold up. So let's take a quick look at it, and then we're going to get to work. Here she is, troops. What a nice drop point. This is going to be awesome out in the field. I think hopefully the testing that we're going to do is going to prove that. But check out that drop point blade. Looks really great. It's got a very nice size sharpening choil. It's got a very decent guard. It's even got some kind of brass there for a bit of decoration. A stainless steel type bolster of some sort, a red liner, all right, a very decent size handle that should fit, you know, a pretty big hand. You can probably fit 6 fingers worth here, all right, put 2 more fingers right here. Hopefully if you have some big hands, this knife should be pretty nice. We're going to test out the spine, see if she sparks a ferro rod. Does have a lanyard hold. Now, I tried removing the scales to see what was under here. I did contact SDOKEDC. They told me that you can't take off the scales because it's been glued on. All right, so I even tried taking a magnet and putting it on here, but the handle is so thick that it really doesn't attach to whatever steel is under here, but it is attaching to these Chicago type screws. And I didn't think it was fair to show everybody that because it's not really telling me anything. So, I mean, I tried putting a magnet all around. It didn't stick, but you know what? The best way to do it is to test it out and see how it's going to hold up. I got a decent size log over here that we're going to be testing out. It's going to be some hardwood, and hopefully it'll put it to the test, okay? Let's take a look at the sheath because the sheath is really nice. So this whole package does include this pancake style sheath with eyelet holes, slots, okay, tech lock for upright and scalp carry, and a leather dangler with the snap. Let's pop the knife in. Please go take a look at my Legion premiere of this knife. It's about 20 minutes worth of detail. You can get a better idea. But there she is. That's the whole package. It is very sturdy inside the sheath. No up and down play, no side to side rattle. The sample that they sent me is pretty perfect. Okay, let me just put this down so everybody sees. I'm ready to test this knife out. Let's do it. All right, here's the log. Let me just put this down for a second. Here's the log. it's pretty long, so I want to process this. You know, if I was a hunter and I needed to start a fire, this is something that is definitely pretty realistic in my opinion, to use a knife like this for. Maybe, maybe not. You know, it's your money. You do what you want with your knife. But this is a channel that does test out knives. Now look, okay, just so that you all know, I am going to recommend that you guys carry a hatchet or an axe or a saw or both with your knife. But again, this is a channel that tests out knives, and that's what we're going to do. So let's get started. Okay, let me just put on this lanyard for safety reasons. I don't know if I need to tighten it up, but you know, just holding it as is feels really good. So I definitely want to do a decent size, because I'm going to do a little bit of batoning too. You know, I want to see how it holds up. Okay, and since I've got so many decent amount of reviews on my Legion Premiere, you know, I figure I owe you guys a good hard use review. So let's do it. Again, a very nice hard log here. This was from a tree. I got permission from the complex. They're throwing out dead trees. I got permission from the complex if I can, you know, cut a few down. Well, they were already pulled out of the ground. I got permission, and I'm telling you, this stuff, whatever this wood is hard, and it'll make good for testing. I'm going to use every part of the blade. Ooh, it's cool today in Florida, man. It was like 46 degrees this morning. The sun's out, starting to warm up a bit, but I am grateful for a little bit of cool weather. Although, you know, hopefully it doesn't stay here long. Okay. So far, so good. It can chop. I'll tell you that right now. It can chop, and the handle, along with a lanyard, is doing pretty good so far. So. So I think this is the pin oak, P-I-N, pin oak. It's some hard wood, man, let me tell you. Not the greatest for feather sticking, I'll tell you that. Damn, this is some hard stuff. We're almost through. We're almost through. Giving this knife a challenge right up to the end, boy, let me tell you. Hopefully it doesn't fall. Of course. But there you go. Oh, that edge looks good. I'm hoping that you guys could see that. No rattle from the guard, and the handle is good. I want to do some V-notch batoning. All right, I forgot to do a quick edge retention test, but I'll do it after I V-notch through this. I'm going to cut it pretty much right through the center here. Let me just grab the Centurion baton. Okay, now this being a hunting knife, I'm not going to go too hard on this one. Okay, because I doubt many of you would use this on woods. I could be wrong, you know, but again, this is the best way I know how to realistically test out knives, all right, on this channel. And that pounding is going to see if my screws come loose, although I got to admit, I did tighten it. I didn't Loctite them. I did tighten it. Again, the handle's on glued. We'll see if things get loose with this type of pounding, because usually things get loose. If you hear any background noise, because people are working, nothing I could do about it. All right. So I apologize in advance if you hear noises in the background. I thought this mic had some kind of noise canceling, but you could still hear things in the background if they're kind of loud. And being that it's a construction site over here, things are going to get loud, you know? Okay, so maybe you're an avid hunter and this might be some type of work that you want to know if your knife can handle or not. All right, so this is why I'm doing it. And again, this is, you know, I have to keep on reminding people. It's a channel that tests out knives. All right. No hand shock, man, at all. So this handle is definitely absorbing everything. Now, no rattle, no movement of the guard. I mean, so far so good. All right, you see how deep that's going in. I do want to put this knife to the test for you guys because I'm sure you all have a lot of questions and concerns about the Tang, etc. So doing my best for everybody. Now this knife is under 50 bucks, so if this comes through with flying colors, you know, this is going to be a pretty nice blade. And for those of you that are going to use a knife like a knife, there's no issues with this then. This is a pretty nice setup here. Knife, handle, sheath. I mean, the whole package is a good deal. Oh, just hit my knuckles. Ah! Well, you can see it's going through. All right. Damn. That hurt. Ah, damn it, Murphy's Law. Okay, let me pick this stuff up. Hold on a second. Let me just do this. All right. Now, where I was batoning, and you could see the discoloration. Okay, I have a stick here. All right. There you go. Still sharp. Still working out real nice. Awesome. Nothing is loose here. The brass is not loose. The guard is not loose. The bolster is not loose. The handle is good. Let's do some horizontal and vertical batoning. All right, vertical, let's do it. Okay, good. Some quarters here. Nice. So far, so good. Excellent. Just keep on going a bit. Do the front part. I'm hitting that tip. Oh, nice. That was very nice, okay? Excellent. Awesome. Okay, good. This is really good, man. Nice, very nice. And again, nothing's loose. Edge is good. Okay, so I am satisfied with this. Let's do some horizontal batoning. We're doing good. We're doing good. Let's try some horizontal. I'm going to go through that knot for everybody, see how she holds up. And I'm going to use the whole part of the blade to get through this. Make sure that I am in camera properly. I'm just going to dig in a bit so it doesn't roll on me, okay? Nothing loose. Now, obviously, time will tell. The handle gets loose, the guard gets loose. However, for those who are going to be using this as a knife, it should last you a long time, I would assume. So, I mean, so far, the way I've been beating on this knife, we're looking good here. We're looking good. So I'm going to go right where the split is. Just tap it in a bit. Okay, here we go. All right, you can see the split. I'm just going to safely finish up over here. Come on. Let's see what we got here. Good, the bark is coming off. All right, so it looks like it went through knots too. All right, perfect. So let me just get rid of this bark over here. And while I have you all in camera after that batoning, okay, and you saw that I utilized the whole blade. There we go. Still sharp. Digging in too, man. Well, let's continue. Let's keep going. Actually, let me use the thicker piece. I'm going to use my tip a little bit over here to take off the rest of this bark. Okay, good. Good, good, good. See if I can make thirds. Damn, this wood is some tough stuff, man. Okay. Ah, damn it. Okay, in any case, it's fine. In fact, I can even go a little more. Again, if you want to make some kindling, you're hunting, you're done hunting for the night, you're in your hot tent, got a stove, you know, you don't have your axe handily, you know, or readily available. So far, so good. Okay, let me put this here. I want to pick up that other piece. I want to continue with it. Actually, it's just a nice kindling stick. So, all right, there we go. Now, I want to do a tip test. Okay, so let me see how this might work out with a tip test. Okay, tip's still there. That's good news. So far, it's pretty deep. So I want you guys to be comfortable if you're going to do hunting and you got to get into the animal that you just harvested and you need to cut it up, and you know you have to dig in a little bit between the muscle, the sinew, the cartilage, maybe even some bone. You know, I want to make sure that you guys know that this tip is going to be good. All right, so that's a nice divot. And I did use that tip to pivot so I can make it a little bit bigger. You know that's adding stress to that point. All right. There you go. That's not bad. And that tip is looking pretty good. Now, I'm gonna just real quick. So I'm gonna make some smaller sticks. All right, I mean, that's not bad. I'm using the tip to pry this open a bit. All right, so, okay. And I got one more nice thick square one so I don't have to hurt myself. Okay. A little prying. To see that prying opened the stick up a bit. Let's keep going. I honestly believe that this tip will handle game. Okay, even though if you don't agree with this test right here, I think that this tip will handle some bone, sinew, cartilage. Okay, I think we're good to go on these tests. So far so good, man. Right, feather sticks and individual curls. I'll test out the spine. Very excited about this knife, man. This is a nice knife, man. This is a nice knife. I have 5 different types of wood here, okay? Kiln dried wood. Then I have something I just picked up in my pile. This stuff I used to test the SDOKEDC Scandi ground knife. This wood, I just work with this knife and then fat wood, okay? So I want to show you what I can do with the kiln dried wood, okay? I just want you all to see, after all that abuse, how sharp this knife still is and what it can produce as results for feathers. That's pretty cool. I mean, I'm not very good at feathering, but this knife is doing a fine job. So it is still sharp from that abuse, okay? Not only is it sharp, but knock on wood, so far with the abuse I've been giving it, nothing is loose, nothing is rattling. So real good. So this is the kiln dried wood. You could see what it did. While I'm here, let me just test out this spine. So this is the part of the spine I'm going to be testing out right here, right before the swedge happens. Let's see. It's okay. It's okay with the kiln dried wood, but I would rather make these nice long feathers right here. Put it in a nice big pile. Hopefully it'll spark up a ferro rod. So I forgot the ferro rod, but I'll grab it in a second or two. So this is the kiln dried wood. Let me just put this down. So I've got some other piece of wood right here. You can see I've used this in other knives for testing. So I like to show everybody the different types of wood that I'll test with. So that's sharp too. Okay, make no mistake, this is a pretty hard piece of wood right here. Okay, that's no joke. So, and the knife is just, making some nice curls if needed. Kind of wish I knew what this wood was so I could advise everybody, Okay, so that's number 2. This is the stuff I used to process with the SDOKEDC Scandi ground knife. So let's see. This is in my way. This wood I find very difficult to make feathers. Okay, but it is definitely cutting. I'm making individual curls, feathers, whatever you want. So and I'll make a nice feather off camera. The point is, I just want to show you how sharp this knife is after that abuse. This is the wood I use to baton and chop today's piece. Make sure I get a nice angle over here. Okay, it is making my curls here. Not the best wood, man, to make curls. Maybe it's not dry enough. I don't know. All right, but just, an example here. of the different species of wood. Let me try this one. So it's definitely doing it, you know. But I just want to show you that it's doing it with a few different species of wood. Now I've got this fat wood over here, resinated fat wood. That's awesome. All right, I'm making a nice fine curls. Good. All right. Damn, let me move this out of the way. I'm going to come back to this piece because I was making some nice long curls with this. So now let me see if the spine will make some fluff with this fat wood, and then I will go get the ferro rod. All right, so at least I think it could use some sharpening, to be quite honest. But this is kind of too nice of a knife to just, you know, put a burr on here, possibly damage, you know, the blade. Well, you know, again, it's, you do what you guys want, right? So, but so far, the good news is that at least with the fat wood, it seems to be doing pretty good. And as always, you could always do this, right? So now I'm going to put the knife in front of you. It's not like I'm doing any kind of cutting tasks. Let me just go grab the ferro rod. Completely forgot about that, man. Okay, so let's test it. Now I don't want to start a fire in the garage. I do want to spark this up for everybody. Let's see. Yeah, nice. At least you don't have to modify the edge of the spine to spark up your ferro rod. So that's good. Now, I just want to make a feather stick for everybody. Let me just take off this bark. Okay. I don't have the opportunity to do this often, to make nice long feathers. So when I get into the groove, I kind of want to do it. Just love that. I feel like one of the experts of other YouTube channels who make these awesome, you know, feathers. So an example that you can make feather sticks with this knife. And again, it seems to, you know, with the different types of wood I got, it always depends, you know, on the wood. But this is some really nice dried up, you know, wood that you get from either Home Depot, Publix over here, one of those retail stores. There you go, man. Excellent. Camp tasks. I have a bunch of material for outdoor use. Maybe you work on a ranch or farm, you might find something a little bit more heavy duty than rope or paracord. So let's test out the knife, see how it performs after that abuse and that beating. Just get everything organized over here. So I have this waxed twine. Okay. Just gotta make sure I'm in the camera. I mean, this is really easy stuff, but I still want to show because this is very functional out in the field. You know, it's some tough stuff and it could probably work out for you. You know, maybe you're doing a little bit of bushcraft work. You need to tie using some of this wax twine. It will do the job. All right. Well, since I got this here, this is this nylon material that people use to ratchet, I don't know, ladders or whatever equipment, some wood to their truck or to their van. I don't have very much of it left, so just gonna be a little frugal with it, but you see it went right through. All right. Paracord, here we go. A little bit of paracord over here. Campsite, you might use some paracord. Very, very easy. Do it again for everybody. Nice, okay? Very easy. And I have some synthetic twine. All right, just get that out of the way. See if I can just double up here for everybody. And I apologize for any background noise, but they are working. Okay, easy. Still useful, you know, out on the campsite or farm or whatever. I have some of this pallet tie. This might be, you know, tying appliances, holding it in place, holding the box in place with this stuff. You know, maybe you get something similar on the farm, on the ranch. You know, it just glides right through. All right. Oh, here, the rope. Sorry about that. A little bit of this natural rope. Okay. Do a little push cut for everybody. There you go. It did it. Now let me do one of these cuts right here. Show them on camera. Easy. Okay. Real easy. A little bit. This is the more heavy duty stuff. So this is something I found here while they're constructing. This ties prefabricated roofs. Okay, easy. All right, easily done. This is another heavy duty tie, and I just, you know, instead of flopping around, okay, I just tied a little piece of plastic tie here. You just saw that I push cut, and it cut, and very easily cut the tie. Now I have something very thick and substantial. Let's see how it does. Okay, this is always a good challenge. And this is also a good challenge right here. This is some really heavy duty, thick stuff. You know, if you sometimes they pallet tie some machinery with this. So let me see if I can do this safely in front of the camera. All right. So $50, man, for this knife. Okay, took a beating. Nothing is loose. The screws, they didn't come loose after that beating. If this, you know, is a stick tang, I'm sure it's a heavy duty stick tang. I'm still waiting for SDOKEDC to send me a picture. You know, I did ask them if they can send me a picture from the factory of the tang, but you saw I gave this thing a good beating and it held up. And I know most of you probably aren't going to use this the way I have, but it's a channel that tests out knives. So, all right, man. We're good to go. The SDOKEDC Hunter DC53 Steel, man, this thing is awesome. A fine example of what this hunting knife can do. It did the outdoors. I just wish I had some meat. You know, I wish I could have. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll do another video and show you how this can carve up a turkey, cut up a turkey, quarter it, or cut it into parts. Maybe I will do that because I like this knife. This knife is pretty good. $50 gets you that knife that you saw took a beating and that awesome sheath right there with the leather belt loop and a tech lock. How can you go wrong for the price? You can't. You just can't. And it did a fine job. And I want to thank everybody for making it this far. Really appreciate you all. Let me know what you think about this knife. I also want to thank DeLucy for sending me the two knives for testing. You guys rock. These knives are awesome. Worth every penny. Let me bring awareness, everybody. Hashtag 22 a day, hashtag 22 a day no more. There are veterans in active military. Once they get out of the service, they do face a lot of challenges. Unfortunately, one of these challenges is suicide. So when we're done here, at the end of the video, pause on the slides. There'll be phone numbers you can call, websites you can surf. A heartfelt message from one of your own, Martin Miller, Vietnam veteran, 66 to 69. He's been there and he's gone through what you might be going through. Please seek the help that you all have earned and deserve. Enjoy your Veterans Day. Remember a veteran. Remember, if you know somebody, or just thank that veteran in the comments below. We would appreciate it today. At the ready, troops, hold the line. Take care.
Legionnaires!